Good morning and greetings from Northumberland on another dark and mild Advent morning. Only the one more morning of Advent to go. Jesus today is talking about looking at the fig tree and watching out for the signs of the times. Of course, he's really talking about being open to the coming of God into our lives. But I, like many people yesterday, spent an inordinate amount of time trying to study the signs of the times. And by that I mean trying to go through the new government restrictions and regulations about the 3 tiers that the country is now in. What it seems to mean for us in Northumberland, and I know it will be different in every part of the country, is that we are now in tier 3 rather than tier 2 where we were before the lockdown. So things have got worse in terms of the restrictions. Now, I don't understand all the reasoning behind it. We live in a fairly rural area with people very spaced out, and although there has been some incidents of COVID. For example, I know that there are 4 people in our ward, in our constituency ward, who've had COVID in the last week. The number seems really relatively low. But we are placed, we live alongside a big conurbation in Newcastle and further south, and I think we bear the brunt of that. So I make no complaint really about the tiers, except to acknowledge that some people are feeling that we suffer because of our place geographically rather than benefit from our place geographically. But that's not the point. The point is, how does that affect us in the church? And I've had a few questions and a few emails already asking me what tier 3 means for the church. Well, I think it means, and as I said, I've been trying to study the signs of the times, I think it means that things are very much as they were before we went into lockdown. That is, that our pattern of worship around the benefit will continue as we advertised it before lockdown, with each church having a certain number of services between now and Christmas, and each church having a Christmas service of some kind. All of them are different, the pattern for each church is different, but we will all be getting services in Advent, starting from the 2nd of December and going through until Christmas. So those details will be published. They'll be published on the A Church Near You page of each parish, but they'll also be published on our social media and in the letters that I send out to everyone around the parish. And if you want those, if you don't get any of that, then please drop me an email or send me a text and I will let you know. What saving Christmas doesn't seem to mean, for the government at least, is changing any regulations around worship. I'd had this fond hope that as we approached Christmas, there might be a concession for a few days, perhaps a week either side of Christmas, where people would be allowed to sing carols at least outdoors, so that we could gather outside our churches, in our churchyards, and sing a carol along with our neighbours, taking all the precautions that would be necessary, including singing in face masks. But I don't see any sign of that. So at present, our Christmas worship will continue to rely upon recorded music. We do have some good news. 2 of the choristers in the BBC Chorister of the Year, one we know is a finalist and another may also be a finalist after next Sunday's semi-final, are going have recorded carols for us. And I'll say more about that after the semi-final on Sunday. But we do have two specially recorded carols for us that we will use in our worship around the benefice. So the message is, our worship resumes as it was before the lockdown, and we will keep you updated as we study the sign of the times. Sorry for this public service announcement, but I felt it was important.